McDonald's menu prices doubled in 10 years. The 15-cent hamburger became the $9 meal. Customer satisfaction fell to dead last among 23 chains 3 years running, and the company's response was 10 new menu items priced under $3. That is fake value. 45,000 restaurants, $27 billion a year, and McDonald's still had to run a national campaign convincing people its food was affordable. So how did the company that invented cheap fast food become the opposite of how fast food should work? It starts in the California desert with two brothers and an idea that would change how the world eats. In 1940, Richard and Maurice McDonald opened a barbecue drive-in in San Bernardino, California. It did well enough, but the brothers noticed that most of their revenue came from hamburgers, and the car hop model was slow, expensive, and impossible to keep consistent. So in 1948, they shut the restaurant down for 3 months and rebuilt it from scratch around a concept they called the Speedy Service System, a 9-item menu built on 15-cent hamburgers. Customers walked to a window and received hot food in under 30 seconds. The waitresses were gone. The tipping was gone. The entire operation was designed around a single principle: remove everything between the customer and the meal. It worked. Families lined up around the building, the parking lot filled before noon. Other restaurant owners drove across the state just to watch the kitchen run. But it took an outsider to understand what the brothers had actually built. In 1954, a milkshake machine salesman named Ray Kroc walked into the San Bernardino restaurant and counted 8 of his multi-mixers running at once. No other restaurant in the country needed that many. Kroc did not see a hamburger stand. He saw a machine that could be replicated and installed in every town in America. He convinced the brothers to let him franchise the system nationally. The first Kroc franchised McDonald's opened in Des Plaines, Illinois in 1955. By 1961, he had bought the brothers out entirely for $2.7 million and built more than 200 franchise locations. But Kroc discovered something about McDonald's that would shape everything that followed. The real money was never in the food. A financial executive named Harry Sonneborn showed Kroc that McDonald's could buy the land beneath every franchise location and lease it back at a markup. Corporate would collect rent, royalties, and fees on every dollar a franchisee brought in, regardless of whether the food was good or the customer came back. The structure was designed to extract value, not to deliver it. McDonald's became a real estate empire that happened to sell hamburgers. The golden arches glowing on every American highway at dusk, the smell of fries drifting through a drive-through window, a Big Mac in Toronto that tasted identical to a Big Mac in Dallas. For millions of families, McDonald's was the restaurant where price was never a question. A parent could feed 3 children for the cost of a single plate at a sit-down restaurant and know exactly what they were getting before they walked through the door. That consistency was the promise. That accessibility was the brand. And for decades, nobody questioned whether the machine behind the promise was built to serve the customer or to collect from the franchisee. The first cracks came from inside the machine. The franchise model required scale, and scale required industrial food production. Serving millions of identical hamburgers across thousands of locations meant ingredient decisions that were never designed to survive public scrutiny. In 2004, the documentary Super Size Me grossed over $20 million at the box office, and it turned McDonald's into the public face of everything critics said was wrong with the American diet. The filmmaker ate nothing from McDonald's for 30 days, and he documented what happened to his body on camera. 6 weeks after the film premiered at Sundance, McDonald's announced it would phase out its supersize option. The company called the decision menu simplification. The timing told a different story. McDonald's absorbed the fallout. Salads appeared on the menu. Calorie counts followed. Apple slices replaced fries in Happy Meals. But the health backlash killed the one thing McDonald's had always relied on, the assumption that the food was just food. For the first time, millions of customers looked at a Big Mac and wondered what they were actually eating. That question would not go away, and in 2012, it got an answer that made it permanent. In the spring of that year, ABC News broadcast a series of reports on lean, finely textured beef, a product made from beef trimmings treated with ammonium hydroxide gas to kill pathogens. The public called it pink slime. McDonald's had already removed the product from its supply chain the year before. But the timeline did not matter. The term stuck because it confirmed what millions of customers had feared since the supersize me era, that cheap food might be cheap for reasons they were never supposed to see. The manufacturer, Beef Products Incorporated, lost 70% of its business and shut down 3 of its 4 plants. The damage did not stay with one company. After pink slime, every dollar menu burger in America carried a question customers could not unask. That suspicion changed what customers saw when they looked at McDonald's. The franchise model had standardized the food. It had also standardized the equipment. Every location ran identical machines from a single supplier, the Taylor Company. One manufacturer across 45,000 restaurants meant there was no competitive pressure to fix anything. And so the machines stayed broken. McDonald's soft-serve machines became so unreliable that an independent developer built a public tracker called McBroken to monitor outages in real time. In late 2024, the tracker showed a national failure rate of nearly 15%, with some cities running above 30%. McDonald's claimed its machines ran about 95% of the time. The FTC investigated. The Department of Justice weighed in, but the legal fight missed the point customers had already absorbed. The ice cream machine became a national joke because it violated the most basic promise McDonald's had ever made, that a customer could order the same thing at any location and receive it. Once people started laughing at what did not work, they noticed everything else that had changed. The franchise model that had standardized the equipment had also squeezed the labor. Corporate needed volume without headcount. Automation was the answer, and the customer absorbed the cost. Ordering at McDonald's once meant reading a lit menu board and speaking to a cashier. By the mid-2020s, the experience required kiosks, app downloads, loyalty accounts, and delivery fees the menu board never showed. And that complexity had a cost the menu never displayed either. A customer who once walked in with pocket change and left full now needed a smartphone and a rewards membership to find the best price. The same meal could cost 2 different amounts depending on whether a customer ordered at the counter or through the app. The system designed for speed had become a system that required digital navigation to avoid overpaying. That was fake value. The deal still appeared on the screen, but the effort required to extract it had quietly reversed the original promise. Then came the bill. McDonald's corporate collected a percentage of every franchise dollar as rent and royalties. When menu prices rose, corporate revenue rose with them automatically. There was no structural incentive to keep food cheap. There was every incentive to let it climb. Inflation took the public blame. Corporate greed collected the private profit. A Finance Buzz study found that McDonald's average menu prices doubled between 2014 and 2024, the steepest increase of any major chain examined. A Big Mac meal that cost $7.29 in 2019 was $9.29 5 years later. A family of 4 that once left McDonald's for under $20 now faced a bill that rivaled Applebee's. In October 2024, the CDC linked an E. coli outbreak to slivered onions served on quarter pounders. 104 people across 14 states fell ill. 1 person died. The company, built on the idea that anyone could afford to eat there, had become a place where customers questioned both the price and the safety of the food on the tray. In the first quarter of 2025, McDonald's reported its largest United States same-store sales decline since the pandemic, down 3.6%. Chief Executive Officer Chris Kempczinski told investors that traffic from low-income consumers had fallen by nearly double digits. The people McDonald's was built to serve were the people leaving first. The structure Kroc built in 1961 was working exactly as designed. The company did not need the customer to come back tomorrow. It needed the franchisee to keep paying rent today. The incentives had been misaligned for decades. The growth just covered it. The corporate response confirmed the thesis. McDonald's launched a $5 meal deal in June 2024. By April 2026, the company rolled out 10 new items priced under $3. Fair enough. But the fact that the company had to launch a value campaign is itself the proof. A brand built on value does not need to advertise that it is valuable. The advertising is the confession. By every financial metric, McDonald's is healthy. Revenue exceeded $26 billion in 2025. The company opened more than 2,000 new locations in a single year. But financial health and brand health are not the same measurement. The American Customer Satisfaction Index ranked McDonald's dead last among 23 chains in 2025. It was the third year in a row, behind every competitor, behind brands half its size. The golden arches still glow on every highway. The drive-through lanes are still open, but what comes through the window costs more, takes longer to find at the right price, and requires an app to locate the deal that used to be printed on the menu board in letters large enough to read from the parking lot. McDonald's did not stop being fast food. It became something its founders never intended, fast food built on fake value. If you think McDonald's broke the promise of cheap fast food, wait until you see what happened to Tim Hortons. Same kind of story, different country, and somehow even worse.